I made almost $600 in the first 30 minutes of the New York session and then got off the desk and played a round of golf to enjoy my day. I didn't get into trading to trade all day. I got into trading to get my time back and do it with my day what I want. So if you want to see the strategies and how I'm able to trade like this and call my days early, then stick around to the end so you can see the exact setups that got me into this position. So if you look at the trade Zealot, first thing I want to look at is that tilt day from last week. Hopefully you guys already saw that. That video is also posted here on YouTube. Go check that out on Tuesday the 4th. Big blow up day. Way too many trades on multiple accounts. But if you look at it now, a week almost removed from it, we didn't make it all back yet, but we are back green on the month. So step by step, day by day, trade by trade, we'll keep on pushing along to the end of the month. And I have no fear, full confidence that we can get it all back. But I think you just need to zoom out and not try to swing it all back. I mean, you can see the next day I made $6 big old dollars. And then 1.2K on Friday, 600 on Monday. Maybe I come in tomorrow, make another 500. And now we're back just a week later, right? So just being patient, playing the long term. That Tuesday the 4th does not define me. I'm going to stick around to the end of the month and again next month, and we'll make it all back. But first things first, today's trade. How was I able to make money so quickly and then call it a day? I don't care if there was more moves. That's great. I love to capitalize on them. But also, I like to have my time back. Sometimes I just want to call it a day, make my money early on, get my piece of the move, and move back on. So here's the short that we had at the open. I really like the way this was setting up. This is on NQ. ES didn't look quite as beautiful, but they both follow the same bearish sentiment. So first things first, on the left side, clearly underneath this daily view up, heading into the open, setting in a nice bearish bias from yesterday into all last week we were bearish. So I'm heading into today's open with that same bearish bias until we get buyers in control. Clearly above this New York VWAP, above the daily VWAP. Previous days New York isn't even in this markup. It's probably somewhere up there. So I'm definitely leaning towards the short bias, but I don't want to change it or trade it when it's still in this range. So you let it chop sideways, see who's going to take control. There's no breaks to the opening range at this point. And if you've seen Futures 2.0, which is on ASFX TV, I'm not looking to chase this first break outside open range low. Those often aren't the ones that want to run very strongly. We've seen it run plenty of times. We've also seen it do this plenty of times when it's not ready to move quite yet. So I let it break, almost confirming my direction. Okay, nice, sellers took control. Now let me see if they could pull back. Could it have came a little bit closer to New York VWAP? Yeah, that would have been ideal. But at the end of the day, sellers defended this New York VWAP, creating in the lower high from back here, back up at high day. So we're still falling on top. I can get a great stop loss at this previous lower high compared to this one, right? My stop loss is well above New York VWAP, so I could allow the sellers to still remain in control. If they do want to retest it fully, I could still be in it all the way back down. So I'm trading the lower day VWAP break here, back outside the open range low a second time, right? Not chasing this first one, waiting 5 minutes, taking it the second time, and it's straight profit for a new lower day and a new 15-minute candle as well. I'm out by 10:05, and I go to play golf at noon. So a really nice quick winner in the morning, just following the trend, following my plan. And like I said, if you haven't seen this strategy yet, you can go to ASFX TV, Futures 2.0 right here. This is where the VWAP break is, as well as the bounce plays, but what key levels am I trading off of? So how I said I don't want to chase the first break outside open range low. You'll see exactly why, and you'll see all the markups of it. And if you aren't a member yet, you actually can use code Evan. I'll give you a 50% off your first month, so that way you get access to these two courses as well as the live streams where we took this trade live together today. I mean, you go to the catalog here, and I'm sure it's there. You go to the replay. If you missed the New York Open streams, you can go here. A masterclass in shorts. Austin took the short as well. I took the short on NQ. So you can actually go back and see why did I take the trades, or ideally, you're there live and you take them with us. But let's go back to the trading view here and see what other opportunities there were. So you can see my short here had a pretty good sell price on the day, huh? Don't you think? I sold it here. Now let's zoom in out to what happened the rest of the day. Not too bad, not too bad. If only I held on to that. But regardless, so nice little short there. Again, not really too interested in these small little pullbacks. Today is the day where they do run, right? You anchor to any of these lower day VWAPs and take the short on the break of it. It does continue lower. I'm not super interested in that. Let it fall. Now it's at 11 o'clock. You could even turn on the initial balance. We took out a side of that. If I had to guess, if turn on the initial balance here in red, we take out the initial balance low. That's a huge factor in my direction for the rest of the day. Before we go on with this markup, let's go back to Edgefill so you can see what I mean by that. If I go to Edgefill here and look at not the opening range breakout, the initial balance breakout, I'll filter it by size, by weekday. Today was 1.26. That's a big drop. So by size, I don't know if they'd even have that size. It might be too big. It's on the very high end of it. So of initial balances this size that we had today, 40 of them in the past 6 months. Only 4 times have they broken both sides. So 10% likelihood that we break both the bottom and the top. So I'm not really expecting that to happen. You can see up here, break down, yes, but it didn't break out to the top, which is in line with this stat. So once this is broken to the downside, I know now, reading those stats, there's a 10% chance we would come back up and be super bullish on the day to double break that, right? So that leads me to keep looking for shorts. Where is that going to come off of? My key level of the initial balance as well. It's not just using it for stats. It's also a nice key level. So you let it fall for the new low a day. Finally, here's our breath. Here's our pullback filling in this gray space that we've just been creating this entire drop, right? I want to see some of that gap be filled. So we come back to New York VWAP, then break the low a day VWAP. So sellers are in control. You could want to sell it there with the stop loss at structure above New York VWAP. You would definitely survive this trade. But then even if you wait, let it retest it again, create a lower high now. So now you're still falling on top. Lower high, sellers back in control. You can get in there with the same stop loss at that same structure. And if we just zoom this back in, because you're probably not going to catch this entire move, which is fine. Just need my piece of the pie and I'll come back later. So sellers are back in control. So now I want to short it again to go continue this clear trend. It's off a key level. I got a great stop loss above the New York VWAP. And now I have these 2 structure points to work with. It's beautiful. And sellers try to push us a little bit lower. They go to make that equal low here at low a day VWAP. So maybe you're out there. But let's just argue, well, it's not 1R, Evan. Yeah, I'm not out of the trade. That's only 0.8R. Well, hopefully your stop loss isn't moved to break even without taking any profits off. So let's say you're still in it, and we'll even remove this, right? Because let's just pretend you're not in this trade and you see it pull back. Well, what does it do from the previous time we went over that entry? Another lower high, and then another lower high, another one. And it just keeps on falling, right? So if you have the proper stop loss and you give it the patience to just work itself out and let it tell you when it's done moving lower and when it's invalid, it would have never told you that, and you would still be in this short arguably all day. You wouldn't want the longs ever until maybe power hour, MOC there. But hopefully you're done by the day there. So I think if you put it on here, it's very easy to say, sellers are back in control. Let me give them all the space to maintain this control. And they absolutely do. It just keeps on falling nice and clean. One last thing we could also look at is ES at the same time of day of my short, or even this one I'm talking about here. New low a day. Same thing, breaking the initial balance. So boom, right here. I know I'm looking for shorts only today because we probably don't want to double break up here. Beautiful, fantastic. So now I just got to let it pull back. You could maybe take this one off initial balance low. It does break the low a day VWAP there. You're probably going to lose on that one. Even better, comes back to New York VWAP, then the break of low a day. I really love that one. I mean, if you watch the course I'm telling you on ASFX TV, you'll see that's the setup right there. Key level of New York and a low a day break, as beautiful as it gets. We had a couple people in the Black Street Club actually sell the bounce. We got a really good price way up there and caught the dip all the way down to the low a day, almost like 2R trade. But even if you catch the low a day break, stop loss at the high, it's the same structure as NQ, right? Let it make those lower highs, and there she goes. So super, super clean. But then going back to this first point I was making, when I'm short on NQ, ES is probably somewhere around here, right? So how NQ was making that new low a day outside the open range low, pulling back, and I'm trading the second break outside. You can see here on ES, it didn't quite look like that. So could I have sold it here? Yeah, it looks the same. But I like the way it looked on NQ a little bit better, right? You can see the lower low being made, where on ES, it didn't quite make that lower low, right? Just a small little nuances here. I like the look of this a lot better. So that's why I chose NQ today. But I think either way, the direction is clear. You could pop open the 15-minute, like I was saying, heading into the open. What a drop down that is. But heading into the open, let's throw on the daily VWAP. And then also we'll throw on yesterday's New York VWAP. It's going to be Fridays, but we call it yesterday's, previous days, whichever you want to go with. But we come into the open here at 9:30. Definitely bearish, definitely below all these VWAPs. And then we see it start to chop around, and we get the push lower. Sellers are in. The VIX was up like 15%. Stocks are moving lower, so you just ride the shorts and ride the shorts. Never once did it want to come back to the daily VWAP, which is what I would normally be looking for, right? On a day like this, when it sells off almost 3%, you're not going to get those pullbacks. So just follow the shorts, follow your plan. Hopefully make money. I think you have to make money on these days when the trend is this clear, right? Like I said, if you sold it at any point on the 1 minute at an arguably good price on these pullbacks, not one of them really loses with a good stop because none of the lower highs were really taken out and then fell, right? It was very hard to be early. You just might have had to hold on to it for a little bit longer, but regardless, it was clearly sellers, clear direction, great target. So definitely look into these edgeful stats to keep you one-sided, knowing the right probabilities that it probably doesn't want to go higher, as well as check out the ASFX TV stream so you can understand the strategy and even take it with us. And like I said, you could join the streams for 50% off. So definitely try that. The courses, the live streams, the replays, everything for half off. You can't really beat it. But I think so far on the month, good to scrape back. Now we're starting fresh. Almost 10 days into the month is a little bad, but we recovered the red, and that's all that matters. Now we're back green. Let's finish the month strong, day by day, trade by trade, and keep following the plan. The worst thing to do would have that Tuesday day, blow up day, bleed into Wednesday, even Thursday, and have a bigger hole to have to dig out of. Limited it, didn't repeat it the next day, or the next, or the next, and now we're fine. We're still alive 5 days later. We're fine, right? Not too much pressure or too much weight on that one given day. So we live and we learn, we move forward. But on those days I did, like I said, went on a little bit of tilt. So if you needed new accounts like I do, I'm trading with Tradeify right now. So if you actually use, again, code Evan, you'll get 30% off all of these accounts. If you just use my name, it'll match the best deal that they have. So definitely don't buy full price. Use code Evan and you could buy all of these accounts for almost $200 less. Something like that. It's 30% and then 35% for the 50K. So definitely go check that out. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys made money. Hopefully you guys check out the strategy and enjoy it just as much as I do and all of us on stream. But keep following your rules. Trade safe. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.